opportunity not to focus on differences. Tonight is an opportunity for all of us in this room, and with our wonderful leadership gathered this evening, for a bipartisan display of support, not only for Israel's fight against Iran, for the free world's fight against this tyrannical leadership, against Iran and its nuclear ambitions, against their goal of terrorism throughout the world. Two extraordinary leaders who are willing to make a difference, who stand up to speak truth, who stand up to fight the evil that exists in this world and to defend the rights of freedom, of liberty, the privileges that we enjoy here in this country, in Israel, and in the free world.
We must put a stop to Iran's nuclear weapons aims, and we must do it now. Every rocket that flies from Gaza into Israel, every terrorist attack like the horrific slaying of the Fogel family, the bombing in Jerusalem, the rocket attack on the school bus just this week, has the fingerprints of Iran upon it. I've been so dedicated to this issue that no matter what the subject in our Foreign Affairs Committee, I make a point of addressing the Iranian threat every opportunity that I have. I push witnesses, I prod the administration on our lack of enforcement of current sanctions and ways to toughen our efforts. And when I return to Israel in a few weeks, my first foreign trip as a member of the United States Congress, I can assure you that in every one of my meetings with Israeli officials, I will bring up the Iranian threat and the best way that the United States can work with Israel to counter it. We will not tolerate its involvement on attacks on Israel. We will not tolerate its continued violation of international law, and we must make it crystal clear that we will not tolerate a nuclear-armed Iran, and we must be willing to take any action necessary to prevent it.
Without a doubt, one of the most critical and decisive times in history. A theocracy that knows that they get one singular device. As Mahmoud Ahmadinejad said when he stood in Lebanon, it will be for the destruction of the Zionist state. We cannot tolerate that to happen. I can tell you, I look forward to the day that my wife and my two daughters get to travel to the Holy Land. It's personal for me. You must take this message out to the broader Jewish community. You must take this message out to the broader South Florida community. This message must be taken out all across America. There is a bright light that shines in the Middle East. That light is called Israel. Now I will tell you very simply, as long as there is air in my lungs, there will always be an Israel. Our histories, our culture, our people, we're together, we are as one. And always remember, as long as there is the stars and stripes, so shall there be the Star of David. God bless you all. To come to a recognition of the threat that Iran poses to Israel, to America, and indeed to the world as a whole. And that's why I think it's very important that we have this film, and why I'm honored to stand here with my colleague Ted Deutch.
The fact that there are hundreds and hundreds of people here tonight for this showing of this film shows that there is an appreciation for the threat that Iran poses, the threat that Iran poses to Israel, the threat that Iran poses to the United States, and the need for us to take so seriously that threat and work together in a bipartisan way to try to address this threat, halt the illicit nuclear weapons program, and help foster democracy and human rights in Iran, where it's so desperately needed.
There comes a time when compromise, negotiation, appeasement, and talk has to end. And the only thing that is respected in certain areas of this world is strength. And that is what we must portray.
Whether the NSA or Israeli intelligence or others believe that it is a year or 3 years or 6 months, it doesn't matter. As a policymaker, we have to assume that it is tomorrow.
Can't wait till the last minute. We have to be proactive in going up against these type of things. And I think that one of the key messages we need to send, instead of having our military do more operations with the Palestinian Authority, we need to have our military doing more operations with the IDF. Well, I will tell you, in my world, Ahmadinejad would not be allowed to land in the United States.
I would only add that under the Geneva Convention, the greatest crime against humanity is genocide. Just below genocide is incitement to genocide. Someone who stands and speaks of a world without Israel, someone who says that if he acquires nuclear weapons, he will use them against Israel, is committing incitement to genocide and should be tried in the international court for it.
Time to stand up on principles, stand up on our values, stand up on our Judeo-Christian heritage, and ensure that we leave a safe and secure America in Israel for generations to come.
This is not a question of us attacking another government. This is merely an issue of whether or not we will support a pro-democracy movement, a search for human rights, and a move to overthrow a ruthless government.
And I think that if there's one thing that I can leave with each and every one of you as we leave out of here tonight, it's our responsibility, each and every one of us. And we cannot look to someone else and say they'll take care of it, they'll take care of it. We have to understand that this is a threat to each and every one of us.
That the impact that you have by making those phone calls to our colleagues and encouraging them to get involved and telling them why this is important and scheduling times to go sit and meet with them, that really matters.